Hello, this is Dan Sigmund, and we're going to be talking about the proposed budget for Dodge County for 2026. I'm supervisor of District 10, which is the town of Rubicon, village of Neosho. And as far as budgets go, we've been involved with a few now since we've been on the board. I always think they're too high, but I can't get the majority of my fellow supervisors to agree with me. But we're going to give you a little thing today here on the 2026 proposed budget from our administrator, and I'm sort of taking it off of his little section, which is called Highlights from our County Administrator, but I want to give you a little more information about each one. He states that the tax levy is up 1.7%. Tax levy is the amount of property tax dollars that is going to be pulled from Dodge County residents for Dodge County government. That's the tax levy. They kind of leverage it right out of your pocket, you know. But it's not quite an accurate picture here of what's really going on, and I'm going to explain why real quick here. It's not the whole story. They raised the levy to the legal maximum. In other words, they said, how high can we go? And it went whoosh, right to the ceiling, and that's the levy that we have there. But it actually wasn't enough. But they don't tell us that in the budget per se. They did not include something that is being promoted quite heavily. Because if you notice, there's a section, if you read this budget, you can go on the Dodge County website and find it. It's right on the front page typically, right now this time of year. They say there might be some further action happening apart from the budget to build buildings or build roads, you know, i.e. debt tax levy. And we talked about it in a previous video. They're not including that in this budget, but it can happen in a couple ways. One, it can be a budget amendment on the floor the second Wednesday in November when we have our budget meeting. Someone can make an amendment saying, hey, let's borrow $10 million, we'll pay it off in 10 years, and they tack it on. Or it could be during the year, and you just get a 2/3 majority vote from the board, and they can amend the budget down the road too. No one's saying anything. Shh. Don't say the dirty word, debt tax levy, because they've maxed out the levy, but we need a little more. So the debt tax levy, it's legal to put right on top of that max, and you get overmaxed when it comes to your property taxes. So we get taxed more than the max. The county proposed property tax levy is just a little over $37 million. The debt tax levy will be another $10 million, and the first year you only pay, if it's a 10-year amortization, they bond it, you pay $1 million, and maybe you have 3-4% interest. I don't know what it's going for right now. So you're going to be paying another $400,000 the first year, and then every year after that, you're still hooked into that first year bonded $10 million. So it's going to raise our budgets every year for 10 years. It's not just a one-year thing. So that would bring it up to about $38.5 million. So $38.5 million. So that's not up 1.7% then. If they pass this debt tax levy, it'll be up over 5.5%, because they can just put it right on top. Now look at the video, which you will find Dodge County Highway Department messes up the 2026 budget. We're going to do that one right after this one, and I'll show you why I believe that's what happened here. And we'll talk more about that. More highlights from our administrator. Number 2, $6.5 million of 2024 sales tax is still unspent. Last year's sales tax is still unspent, according to him here. $4 million will be spent the next 2 months. And I'm not sure what it's going to be spent on. I haven't been able to follow up on that. But how about fixing some roads? Maybe we should use that $6.5 million for the $10 million they want to use for roads. Just saying. That seems like a pretty important thing. Also, there's $2 million going to be budgeted for, what do they call it here? Improvements in cities, economic development. Everybody in Dodge County is going to have some of their money go to the administrator so that the administrator can funnel it into cities, Beaver Dam, Watertown, or wherever there might be a need for some economic development that the city doesn't have enough money to get in gear. So then Dodge County can take some of everybody's money and get the city going on it. Well, I think a good piece of economic development would be fixing roads. If we would take that $6.5 million from property tax and you got the $2 million of economic development, that's $8.5 million already. See how close we're getting to the $10 million that they say we just don't have it, we got to borrow it. So how about that? I don't know. I don't know if it'll be something that everybody will go for. Highlight number 3, cost of living adjustment, COLA, COLA. Every employee gets one every year, right? Well, Dodge County does it twice as good as everybody. Our employees get it twice a year, January and July. This time around, it's going to be 2.64% COLA in January and 2.5% in July for a total of 5.14% of cost of living increase in 2026. Granted, the second half only is for half of the year, so if you average it out, it comes up to a little over 4% COLA. What's interesting is many counties are not going over 3% cost of living adjustment, period. Some of those counties are saying if you go over 2%, if you and your department or if the county government wants to go over 2% to 3%, you have to let go of some of your employees and then we'll give you your 3%. But Dodge County just wants to be the leader and we don't care. We have lots of money from our residents and we're going to pull it right out of their pockets and we're going to give our employees more than anybody else. Why are we so generous, you ask? Well, those in management at the Dodge County government state that they want Dodge County to become the standard of excellence for all counties in Wisconsin. We are going to be on the top. We're going to pay the most, give the most benefits, we're going to give the most time off, we're going to give the best retirement, we're going to do everything to the max so we can be a leader. But what does that do with fiscal responsibility sometimes? Why are we always wanting to tax everybody more and more and more? In 2021, we've had 750 employees at the county government. Our administrator told me, well, that was probably 4 months ago or so, that we have 1,000 employees now. 25% more employees in the last 4 years. Our county population is level. Our county population's age is getting older. So why does the county have to grow itself by 25% to 1,000 employees? I don't know. We could say that cost of living adjustment that we're giving our employees is going to be an extra $2 million of wages this year over last year. Well, hey, how about if we take 1 million of that 2 million, just cut that cost of living adjustment down in half to match the other counties out there, or a lot of the other counties out there that are doing this. And now our 6.5 million plus 2 million, which was 8.5 million, now we have another million from here. That's $9.5 million just like that we have loosened up to fix roads so we don't have to borrow. But then why should we have to do that to get money for roads? Watch the video about the highway department messing up our budget and you'll see why that should be taken care of by them and their budget in the first place. But they don't do it, and I'll see what happens instead. So we have to spend more than everybody else so that we're the leader. Number 4, last one thought from our administrator in this proposed budget. It says, or he says, no bond sales are needed to cover this 2026 budget. That's because roads aren't included in it yet. They haven't figured out how to pay for those roads. They say they're unfunded. Well, somebody's going to want to fund them. So how are we going to fund them? It's not in the budget. Budget has to be balanced, so if we want to fund $10 million more roads, we have to find $10 million to do it, to keep the budget balanced. So, well, that's the easiest way to do that. Just borrow some money. That's what they're pushing for. And I'm saying, no, that's not the most responsible way to do it. Watch that next video and you'll see why I believe that's not the most responsible way to do it. So, roads are expensive enough without having to pay 10 years interest on top of the expense of it. And then the administrator thanks you, the resident of Dodge County. He thanks you in advance for using extra effort to pull your wallets out. He doesn't say that. I'm sort of adding that a little bit there. So let the county take more so they can pay an extra $2 million to employees, 10% who they might not need. They never look at that. So they get paid the most out of every other county at some time, even though our population is level. One last item of interest. Always good. You know what? I'm going to save this one. In a future video, I'm getting more information. We're going to look at the biggest spender in our county. The biggest department that spends the most. And I'm going to get the numbers really good for the last 5 years. And you're going to see how what's happening is happening with that department too. So we won't go into that today. But I want to encourage you. There is a public hearing coming up on November, let's see, it's Thursday. Today's the 23rd, 24th. I'm bad at dates right now. But anyhow, on Thursday night this week, there will be a public hearing. It's posted on the Dodge County website about this budget. We would like you to come at 6 o'clock and tell us, the supervisors, what you think about this budget and how you think. Maybe you think it should be more. Maybe you think it should be less. Maybe you don't like the idea about this or that. Maybe you want us to rein in some of the expenses with employees. Maybe you want us to hire more employees. We want to hear from you. So come on Thursday night, October 30th, I believe. It's not Halloween. Last year it was on Halloween. So I believe it's the 30th. It's the Thursday night. Come and let us know what you think. 6 p.m., administration building, 4th floor, and let us know. And consider running for county board. Almost always there is an uncontested position on the county board. We would like to see everybody have an opponent so we can talk about stuff like this. So consider that too. It's a really exciting job, really high paying. You're going to love it. You're doing it for the community. You're doing it for your kids. You're doing it because it's right to just give a little bit too. But think about that. We need people who care and to give the county board some direction. So come to that budget hearing and take a look at the budget. It's on the Dodge County website homepage. You can link right into it and see what you think about everything. Thank you.